Anyway, next we have in terms of cops are using a very high-tech equipment in terms of subduing an individual or very unruly individual. Now, it used to be you have a baton, but baton, you know, it's not a foolproof way to subdue unless you hit that person. But if you can avoid hitting that person, that would be better, right? And they using what do you call this? A taser, electric shotgun, right? Which is good in a sense. It's less harmful compared to being shot by a gun. But the problem is there could be severe mental effect on your side, especially if you're, jolted by I don't know how many watts you're electrocuted. But anyway, so in this article, according to Gizmodo.com, they're using a high-tech lasso to handle people here. So that's an interesting premise, and I was quite surprised when I read this article here. Anyway, so it mentions here, so obviously the goal of any public servant, especially the police, to subdue any unruly individual that's not with no intentions of killing them, so to speak, right? There must be a better way. Now, a company was able to develop the latest technology to be able to subdue an individual or restrain the individual without cops having to electrocute, as I mentioned, or even to shoot them. So it is called a Bola Wrap remote restraint device. So it looks like a taser and functions more or less like something like, in the films that we've seen, or even a superhero film. I think just like with Batman, right? With this Batarang, with this. But anyway, so it mentions here it uses gunpowder to explosively discharge an 8-foot Kevlar tether, so to speak, designed to fly through the air and ensnare a suspect. I think they have a diagram here, so let's take a closer look here. Yeah, there you go. So we can see it much better. Yeah, so it looks like from a looks like from sci-fi films that it looks like a taser, but instead of electrocuting you, it shoots out what they call this, Kevlar tetra, as mentioned, and it wraps around the individual here. What's interesting here is it's not supposed to harm you here if you look closely. So it's not going to suffocate you in a sense. So it gives you still freedom to be able to move, but not to be able to run away. So you can see here, it's not wrapped around too tightly. So obviously if you wrap around the arms, the legs, it would be difficult for anyone to run away. And I think, this device is looking promising here. And if they could prove that, it's not going to pose any danger to the individual, then, I think they could use it for this instance here. And, I'm all for it. Obviously, not using guns should be the ultimate goal here because, we don't want to kill anyone by accident or by unnecessary. If we can find always a better alternative way, I'm always all for it here. So they're calling it, referred to as remote handcuffs. Obviously, it tries to handcuff that individual in place so they can run away. So it works in 10 to 25 feet in distance. So obviously used on suspects who are non-compliant or very unruly here. So obviously this would, put a lot of peace of mind, especially if you're an officer. You don't know what's going to happen in the field, and with this you can safely assure that, guarantee that whoever you're trying to stop, that individual, they would be not harmed, and the cops will not be harmed either way. But the concern here is obviously its application is you have to be standing, but if there's an object beside that person, obviously if you try to wrap it around, it might not be as effective as it would seem. But still, the device is produced by Wrap Technologies. That's the name of the company. The Bola Wrap they mentioned here is specifically marketed as a de-escalation tool, which is, based on the demonstration, it is what it means. So cops can use it to protect themselves. Actually, could be marketed for consumer use. So if you want to buy this device, if you have an intruder at home, and you can use this one rather than, you know, use a gun. And if they have hostile intentions, then you could use it here. Now, according to the CEO, Tom Smith, he mentions that obviously the technology is to end confrontation safely, and I think any end action that's, you know, not harmful to both individuals, you know, I'm always all for it. So this is being implemented right now as a pilot program in Seattle. So there's limited field testing, so they're still trying to find out if it's sensible here compared to other tools like as you mentioned, using guns or even using tasers here. But you know, if it's a start of looking for better technology to ensure the safety of both participants, you know, police and even, you know, unruly people, would be tremendous here.